Been less than kind, unimaginative and frustrating, said Hollywood's Bible, Variety magazine. So sickening, I almost brought up my breakfast, said the woke Bible, The Guardian. All the intimacy of Instagram, sneered the normally timid New York Times. A nauseating self-serving snooze fest, said another pundit. Well, that was me, actually.
Once a Soho House basic, always a Soho House basic bitch.
Meghan has always had this very, very strange fascination with Soho House, very much this weird obsession with it.
Do you see any of the real Diana in Meghan?
God,
you?
No.
Really?
No. Sorry. We are uncensored, but oh my God, the idea there's any comparison between Diana, who was the biggest star in the world.
And here we have Andrew, with whom looks like Marcus Anderson. This is in 2001, when Meghan Markle would have allegedly been on third year. Meghan Markle hardly spent any time at Northwestern University. According to people, she got started her yachting days, and she never stopped, really. I don't think any of her boyfriends do about it, but Meghan Markle was known as a hardcore yacht partying person, ready for anything.
It was when all the racism claims turned out to be bull. The mental health claims were bull. All of it was bullshit, designed to damage and attack the royal family, the monarchy, and all of it. And it made me huge.
So Jessica Mulroon introduced her to Marcus Anderson in Toronto.
It makes them newsworthy. So you either then ignore what people are talking about, are debating and having all the silly stuff about the fake pub.
Back in her early days, she was totally reliant on Soho House to pay for her travel, to pay for her accommodation.
Meghan Markle has gone back to live in California, and she's living the life she probably wanted all along.
Yes.
A life of unparalleled luxury and riches that she got by marrying a handsome British prince.
Inspired, as it says, inspired by Soho House. Am I wrong? I thought Soho House was like not doing well, or potentially going under and struggling. Maybe that was just the London branch, but it didn't sound like things were going well. Maybe not across the board. I don't know, but last I heard, things weren't going well for Soho House.
Without Marcus Anderson, I hope to prove to you in this video that Meghan Markle wouldn't have the level of global fame that she enjoys now.
Never complain and never explain was the late Queen's motto for royal PR. For Harry and Meghan, it's more a case of never reign and never abstain, especially when it comes to nauseating self-publicity, which invariably backfires.
He is like a parasite, always lurking in their shadow. No normal family has a constant third wheel, male or female, leeching onto their every move. Marcus is practically glued to them.
Are there any fans of Meghan Markle in tonight? Oh, hang on! There is one lone hand has raised
Subversive.
Up here. Actually, that is one more than I expected, I have to be honest.
Harry, who's that standing next to the Queen? Is that a servant? That's what Harry wrote in his book Spare. How stupid is this man? That he actually believes it, or is it that he wanted to believe?
You won't believe what just went down. Piers Morgan, the man who never misses a chance to speak his mind, did something so wild that the internet literally froze for a second. Live on his show, in front of millions, he supposedly revealed something people thought was buried forever photos. And not just any photos, old, intimate images said to show Meghan Markle during her pre-royal life. Inside those exclusive Soho House circles, she always tried to make sound like a casual thing. But these weren't casual snapshots. Oh no. These were the kind of pictures that whispered stories of power, charm, and the kind of access you don't just stumble into. There she was, allegedly surrounded by some of the world's most powerful men, mingling like she'd always belonged in those elite rooms she later swore she never chased. And the way Piers dropped it, it wasn't one of his usual rants. It felt different. This time, there was weight behind it. People could feel it through the screen. The whispers said he had proof, real visual receipts that could shatter the fairy tale Meghan's been protecting for years. Photos that sources claim were never supposed to see daylight again. The kind you lock away, wipe off the internet, and pretend never existed. But somehow, they found their way back and right onto Piers' screen.
Markle only becomes prominent for Soho House, guys, after she starts being on Suits and she's introduced to Marcus Anderson. And then she gets more consistent and more prominent work, okay? Because then she could be in the presence of Marcus Anderson.
When those images supposedly appeared and that smug little smirk spread across Piers' face, the internet just detonated. Within minutes, people were screaming, scrolling, and speculating like wildfire. Everyone had the same question: what was Meghan really doing at those Soho House parties, and why has she spent years trying to erase every trace of them like they never happened? Let's rewind, because to really understand how deep this runs, we've got to go back. Remember when Piers Morgan met Meghan Markle back in 2016? Everyone thought it was just two media folks sharing drinks, harmless and fun. But there was a spark there, a tiny, barely noticeable spark that ended up blowing the whole thing wide open. They met at a Kensington pub, talked for over an hour. Piers walked away thinking he'd made a friend, maybe even an ally. But the very next night, Meghan went to Soho House for dinner with Prince Harry, and after that, she ghosted Piers completely. No call, no text, not even a polite goodbye, just silence. To most people, it looked like moving on.
In the end, I was told that 57,000 people complained to the television regulator, Ofcom, in the UK. A world record, I'm proud to say, complained about me for not believing Princess Pinocchio. And eventually my boss had said, can you just apologise to Meghan Markle, or you're going to have to, maybe lose your job. I went, I'll take the job option, thanks, I'll leave. And I walked off into the sunset.
But to those who understand how the social ladder really works, it looked calculated. That ghosting hit Piers hard, not just personally, but deep in his pride. It became his grudge. And this was his moment of revenge. The alleged photo drop wasn't random. It was years of anger, finally weaponized with evidence. We all know what happened after that. Piers lost his job at Good Morning Britain after saying he didn't believe Meghan's Oprah interview. He walked off set. 58,000 complaints later, ITV told him to apologize or leave. And of course, he chose to walk. But let's be honest, a man like Piers doesn't just walk away quietly, he keeps score. He remembers. So if these alleged images were real, this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment stunt. It was the strike he'd been planning all along, collecting every piece, waiting for his moment. And when you think about what those photos reportedly showed Meghan in glamorous settings, rubbing shoulders with men of influence, in places the public never heard about, it's no wonder people started looking at her story differently. The humble actress version suddenly didn't match the woman in those frames. Before Harry, her life was painted as clean and simple, working on suits, writing on her blog The Tig, focusing on charity. But those photos, if real, tell another story entirely. They suggest a Meghan who wasn't just in the room, she was the room, the center of it, deep inside Soho House culture, not as a guest, but as a regular. Someone who knew exactly where to be and who to stand beside. People started to realize that this wasn't luck, it was strategy. She reportedly had access to Soho House locations all over London, New York, Toronto, places even A-listers couldn't walk into. Think about it. Kim Kardashian and Kobe Bryant were allegedly turned away from those doors. But Meghan, she somehow got in over and over again. And who opened those doors? Marcus Anderson. The man said to be her secret key to that world. A friend so close that he always seemed to appear wherever she went. The whispers say he wasn't just a friend, he was her handler, her connection to everything elite. Time after time, people noticed the same thing. Marcus was always right there. When Meghan moved cities, he moved cities. When she advanced, he advanced. Coincidence? Not to everyone watching, they say it was by design. And then came the yachts, the lavish trips, the whispers of a world behind the camera where connections were made under champagne lights and private deals were sealed far from public eyes. Sources claim she attended luxury yacht events tied to Soho House and Marcus's inner circle. And though many photos have been debated, blurred, or misidentified, the rumors never really disappeared. Because one thing stayed consistent, Meghan's link to that elite circle was real, undeniable, and stronger than she's ever admitted. Even journalists like Kirby Summers wrote about alleged ties between Meghan and powerful billionaires, names like Ron Burkle, the Soho House board member. Kirby described her early career as a balancing act between acting and dating upward, walking the line between ambition and opportunity. Those words, dating upward, became a polite way of saying what others whispered more bluntly. But of course, not everything online was true. Some yacht photos were proven fake women mistaken for Meghan. Others were real but stripped of context. Still, when you pile them up next to the verified connections, the same circles, the same faces, the same names, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. Because if the fairy tale version were the truth, why does every trail lead back to the same shadowed places? And that's where Piers' alleged photo reveal hit hardest. Because for years, people said if this was fake, she'd fight it. Meghan's never been the silent type when it comes to her image. She sued newspapers over her father's letter, filed complaints over comments Piers made, controlled every narrative. But after this, nothing. No denial, no lawsuit, not even a statement. Just silence. Cold, polished silence. For someone as litigious as Meghan, silence isn't peace, it's strategy. So when she said nothing after these images reportedly aired, the world started wondering, was she staying quiet because it wasn't true? Or because she couldn't risk making it louder? And then came the contradictions. Over the years, Meghan told different versions of her Soho House story. At first, she brushed it off, just another nice spot in London, somewhere convenient to meet friends. Then Harry's book Spare dropped, revealing she called Soho House her headquarters, even storing her luggage there. 2 stories, 2 versions. One truth trying to stay hidden. Marcus Anderson, 2 once described as a casual friend, later seen sitting beside her at Invictus Games, then attending her wedding. Some say he even introduced her to Harry himself. Again, the narrative kept shifting, depending on what she needed it to be, and then people began asking the real questions about money. The outfits, the private jets, the luxury vacations, all before marrying into royalty. Where did it all come from? 3 different explanations, none that matched. Because as insiders know, access to Soho House isn't free. Someone pays for that kind of entry. Someone sponsors you. And when your sponsor happens to control the guest list of the world's most powerful people, that connection becomes gold. People notice the pattern, the exclusive clubs, the famous faces, the quiet funding behind the glamour. All roads pointed back to the same name, Marcus Anderson. The man who never seemed to leave her side. The one who decided who got in and who stayed out. And just when everyone thought the story couldn't get darker, it did. Some sources suggested Meghan wasn't just mingling, she was allegedly placed in those elite spaces on purpose. That young, beautiful women were introduced to wealthy men for more than conversation. The rumors painted a web of influence, luxury, and secrets too messy to ever confirm and too dangerous to dig into. As the whispers grew, one thing became clear. Meghan's fairy tale was written over an erased past. Every carefully curated image of kindness and charity was built over years of carefully hidden associations and quiet power plays. And now, with Piers Morgan allegedly standing there, holding the one thing she couldn't spin the photos, the fairy tale was cracking right in front of everyone. Because if even half of what people claim is true, the Meghan before Harry wasn't a struggling actress at all. She was a woman climbing strategically, relentlessly, towards something bigger. The kind of person who studied every move, every connection, every opportunity, just like she allegedly studied Princess Diana's gestures, copying her compassion, her tears, even her hand movements to mirror the people's princess she wished to replace. And while her public image glowed with humanitarian grace, the internet began to see the darker symmetry a woman trained not just in acting, but in control. Every interview, every quote, every silence was rehearsed. So when this alleged bombshell hit photos she wanted erased, resurfacing live on television, people noticed how she didn't blink. No statements, no outrage, just silence. Because sometimes silence screams louder than denial, and the deeper people looked, the worse it got. All the contradictions, the fairy tale timeline, the unexplained luxuries, the network of elite men and handlers, the ever-changing stories all started to connect. Like puzzle pieces forming a truth no one wanted to say out loud. Maybe that's why this story exploded online. Because it didn't feel like gossip anymore. It felt like exposure. A perfectly crafted image crumbling under the weight of receipts, rumors, and silence. The fairy tale that once shined so bright suddenly looked like a performance, and the audience finally saw the stage lights go out. Because when you piece together everything, the Soho House connections, the Marcus Anderson link, the yacht whisperers, the billionaire network, and Piers Morgan's public grudge, one question remains. Who was Meghan Markle really before she met Prince Harry? The humble actress? The social strategist? The silent player in an elite game? Whatever the answer is, one thing's certain: the fairy tale has cracks, and the truth is leaking through. And maybe that's what scares her most, because no matter how many lawyers you hire, how many websites you scrub, or how many headlines you try to rewrite, the internet remembers. And when silence becomes your only defense, people start to listen to everything you don't say. So, as Piers Morgan's alleged revelation sends shockwaves through social media, one truth keeps echoing louder than all the noise. Fairy tales fade. But the truth? It never really dies. It just waits for the perfect moment to be seen.